All right, what do you say we get this party started? Something like this. Gotta adjust my camera just a little bit, but hey, how about that? We're getting ready to go. Just got light in my face is all the sun. Oh my goodness. All right. Hello. I am back with some more ZBrush fun. Alright, so last week, if you remember, we went through and we made this chair. We made a chair. We made somewhere for our lovely lady to sit. So now, a couple of things that I need to do. An echo! I knew there would be an echo. This happens, and people think that it won't, and it does. Let me see what I can do. Let me see what I can do. Well, I'm just going to test it so I can hear what's going on. Okay, so a couple of the weird things that I've had happening lately. Let's see if this actually fixes it. Yeah, it sounds like that worked. No. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on to make this do what it's doing. Yeah, it's like I've had this echo. In fact, maybe if I change the source, maybe that'll work. Nope. Because this drives me nuts. So if I take this all the way down, does that work? Nope. It's still got the echo. Holy crap. According to all of my settings, there should not be any extra input. Okay, so if we turn off the music, The echo's still there. What in the world is going on? The echo's still there. What in the world is going on? Yeah, got baited. Yeah, it's like I can hear the echo going through. I'm going to have to. Yeah, it seems like desktop audio might be the issue, which really drives me nuts because I'd really like to be able to have music going in the background while I'm working. If in the very least, just so that you guys can hear it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to troubleshoot this. This is driving me nuts. It's like I feel like I've fixed it, and then it comes back, and then I fix it again, and it comes back, and it's just like, just go away. Okay, let's just go ahead. Let's do our thing. I need to maintain some sanity. Um, let's dive into some stuff. Let's get this hair going. Let's get our character working out. I want to start off by building out her hair. Now, the way that I want this hair to be, I want it to essentially be a base that I can use inside of Maya to create hey, Big E. Play music in the background, but with another device. It's interesting. Not sure. Not sure. But yeah, I want to have the hair base be something that I can use as a base to be able to draw out curves, to then use in XGen in Maya. So yeah, if you want to, you could run your own music, I guess. Gets everybody their own flavor. That works. That works. Let's jump into this, cause hair. All right. So most of what I want to do, I mean, you can see like the sculpt is, it's there, but it's rough, right? A lot of what I want to do is I want to use my my topology brush. Skip that until next restart. I'm going to make it kind of a medium small brush, and I want to start by drawing out some curves. Now that was a little bit rough. And I guess I can leave it. It's not really a huge deal. Under strokes, I'm going to turn on my lazy mouse, and I'm going to turn up this radius up to like something around 50. That way I can go ahead and I can draw out, and it's going to come out in a much smoother sort of line. In fact, I could probably undo that, get a nicer flow on that. Okay, much nicer. Okay, same thing. Going to kind of pull this out. Boom. Getting some nice flow right there. With this piece, let's kind of continue it up a little bit more. Just makes sense too, right? Something like that. Okay, for some of these things, we're going to go ahead, we're just going to drag across over here. Going to drag across right here. Okay, for some reason that's not wanting to create a four-sided polygon of love right there. Let's see, right there. Okay, let's do something like that. Let's do something kind of like that. Okay, something like that. And then we'll just go ahead and we'll start building out, you know, even if it's not the full thing. Why did that get messed up? That should not have gotten messed up. Oh well, not a big deal. I guess we can fix that once we get ZModeler going in there. The main thing that I want to have started is to have something like this where I have these main flows kind of going from the top. I'll also start to have like a flow coming in from the side, but that's something that I'll have to build out once I have a little bit more to work with than what I currently have. This is working out. It's just a matter of making sure that I'm getting all my shapes in there. Hey, gorgeous. Let's see. Let's go ahead and take this and pull that up. This bit right here, I'm going to have it kind of curl around. We're going to have this go down. Something like that. That nature, right? Make it fun. Okay. I'm going to call that good for right now. Okay. I'm just going to make that brush size as 1. Let's split out unmasked points. Let's open up our character folder so we can see what we're doing. Here, let's go ahead and name a couple of these pieces here. Rename hair chunk. I'm just going to call it hair chunk for the sake of keeping it simple, right? Let's say rename hair topo. Hair topo. It's a topo. You can tweak curves. I'm just going to leave it kind of where it is just because it makes it a little bit quicker, a little bit easier. Because the thing that I like to do for my own workflow, that's backwards. Why is that backwards? That's kind of funny. Here, I'm going to go ahead and say flip reverse. What's the flip faces? Single poly. Hit that. So now it's facing the right direction. Because one of the things I'm going to want to do is I want to hit bridge edges so that way I can get this edge and this edge bridged together. So now I've got that thing complete. I can just go ahead and delete this now. I don't really need it at the moment. Uh-oh. Oh boy. Okay, so I'm going to turn off Ghost for a second just to be able to see things a little bit better. Maybe I can get a, there we go, lighter poly group. That'll help. Maybe, maybe not. Shoot. Let's see. Maybe for now I can take this and maybe give myself a darker background. Nah, that doesn't help either. Let's take it back. And it's good enough. I mean, I can see it well enough. It'll be fine. It'll be maybe okay. All right. So what I want to do is I want to set up my ZModeler brush to be able to function for me to do retopology for this hair. So I'm going to say extrude, snap to surface. Okay. With the points, move, also snap to surface, and then the faces, I can have that set to do nothing. No big deal, right? I don't need it to do anything at the moment. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull this up. Let's make this bigger so we can actually see it. And then under geometry, let's go ahead and say crease, and we'll say uncrease all. That way we don't have any weird creasing to deal with. Let me see, I think I'm missing something. I gotta love that Sculptress optimal topology. That's actually all decimated. So it's yeah, I didn't use Sculptress Pro on that at all. It was all just decimated. But yeah, I love that functionality of being able to get something that's much lower, something that works really nicely for what you need, right? It's just nice. so this is going to need to come and flow. Oh, that's too much. Let's go ahead and grab this, pull this down. Grab this, pull this down. Okay, a lot of this is going to get some serious tweaks as I go along. I mean, you can see really easily right now, this is missing a good deal of topology that would make this so that this flows nicely. But I'm keeping it super low poly for the moment, so that way I can, so I can connect it and make it so that it works nicely. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull this down. Oh, I didn't want that to connect there. Let's see, let's do this again. There we go. Pull that up, pull this over. Oh boy, let's see. And we'll pull this down. Okay, so now we got like a basic connection here, and we can go ahead and say insert single edge loop, and we'll just, I mean, we could insert multiple edge loops, but in fact, let's do that. We'll say insert multiple edge loops. We'll just give it 2 edge loops in here. In fact, let's say Control W just for the sake of making it easy. And we'll turn that back to extrude. And just kind of pop this out so that this meets the surface. Very fun. I mean, it's super simple, and like I was saying, this is something for me to be able to generate curves with. So at some point, this is all going to be it's all going to be not usable. No, I'm kidding. To an extent, right? A lot of this is going to end up being, yeah, just structure, nothing more than just structure, and that's just kind of how this bit fits into my pipeline. So it's a matter of kind of understanding what it is that you want to get out of something, and understanding the process, what you need it for. Oops, let's turn that back off. So yeah, just real chill, just nice, just pop that in there. Morgan Freeman voice, unfortunately, did not help. How about doing the same topology process on C4D instead? I've never actually used Cinema 4D. It's not one that I'm likely to try because I've never needed it. But if that's something that you find helpful and that's your process, that's great. For me, I like ZBrush because it allows me as an artist to go ahead and I guess really just be flexible. It just offers me a ton of flexibility. It allows me to sculpt and to move the topology around, which is something that you couldn't do, I'm pretty sure, inside of Cinema 4D. Again, could be wrong, but it's my understanding is that Cinema 4D is mostly... yeah, let's get that point to come up where it's supposed to be. Come on, come on. Stop it. Okay, now it's at least up on the right piece of geo. See if we can get it to move into place and behave. Let's see. There we go. There we go. A little bit at a time. Little bit at a time. All right, there we go. That's better. Might be a matter of moving these things over a little bit. But yeah, motion graphics, that sort of tool. My brother has used Cinema 4D. I've never used it. I've never had access to it. I mean, I think I do. I possibly do now, or I could now. Oops. But yeah, just kind of a matter, I guess, of what personal needs are. It's not one that I foresee myself ever really needing to get into, unless I were to get into like advertising. I understand that it's used a lot in advertising, commercial work, that sort of stuff. But yeah. I never used ZBrush before, so I was wondering if it could be more easy for the transition. I usually sculpt in Cinema 4D and do everything there. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know anything about the I wish I could speak to that. Um, it's funny because like I'm like this is, hold on, give me a second. Like this is the official ZBrush channel. I'm not part of Maxon. I'm part of the Maxon family in the sense that they made me like an honorary member because I'm a live streamer for them, but not actually part of the Maxon company. So for yeah, so for me, like it's all just stuff that I kind of know, like what I don't know. That's not. Hold on, my brain is like not catching up with the fact that I'm awake. Um, so okay, okay. So yeah, so the streamers here on this channel, we're all ZBrush centric streamers. There are some streamers, like for instance Mike Pavlovich, who knows everything, so he'd probably be able to answer some things. Um, but yeah, uh, the stuff that I use, like for production, I work for Marvel. That's where I work. Um, that's what I do for a living. I'm a senior. I'm lead character modeler at Marvel Animation, and so this is the type of stuff that I do every day for my job. Um, and yeah, but yeah, I'm in ZBrush all day every day. Sounds like my son's having a day, which is odd because it's early. Maybe that's why. Like it's early. So yeah, some of these things, like I like moving some of these things into place manually. I could have smoothed and kind of manually transitioned everything into place, but or or um or like push and pulled everything into place instead of going through and using the move brush, or I guess the move ZModeler functions to have it snap to the surface. I could have used project, but this is like I like to control it and make sure that I'm getting a nice clean transition, especially when I'm this low in topology. Like there's not a whole lot there to control, so I'm not super worried. Marvelous designer. You model some characters in Marvel Future Flight. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that is. What was Marvel Future Flight? I did stuff in future Marvel shows. Not anything that I can talk about, but still cool. Super exciting, actually. Like, I keep wishing that they would go through and just announce our show because we already have a ton of stuff done for it and it looks really great, and I'm excited to be able to tell people about stuff. Um, Waiting, I guess. Just waiting. It's the name of the game. Let's go ahead and we'll add in another loop down here. Okay, we're almost to a point where I can start to make some of the more magical stuff happen. Where do you make magic happen? Anytime you're at Disneyland, and you use your cast member badge to be able to pay for something, they're like, "Oh, where do you make the magic?" And I was like, I should say, "Don't ruin the magic." um, where do you make the magic? And it's like, I just say ZBrush. I make magic in ZBrush. I'm gonna call that good for now. In fact, this should probably be just enough for me to start pulling in my shapes, refining some things a little bit, and then be able to use this, split it up into polygroups, and split it up by polygroups to make things. Hmm. Not sure what's going on. Okay, I'm going to take this bit right here. This needs to come down. I'm going to reshape this so that this feels like something that I can go ahead and split apart. Okay, let's grab or select lasso. We're going to make this a polygroup. Okay. We are going to make this a polygroup, and then we're going to split it into two polygroups. So let's go ahead, let's do that. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so now I have sections that kind of represent directions of flow. In fact, we can go ahead, we can do that same thing with this section here. Okay. Really quite simple, right? Nothing too complicated. Okay, in fact, let's go ahead and let's turn on display properties, double-sided, just so we can see some stuff. Imagineers. That's funny. Really wish I could use the curve brush that guides for fiber mesh. I tried rendering it with Redshift last night. It's tailor-made for good, stylish renders. Curves would have For some reason, I'm like having a hard time reading right now. It would make it so much easier to style the hair. I agree. I agree. Because I mean, it's like the fiber mesh comes with its own curve system that it works with. Um, but what if you could talk about those future Marvel shows? And that would be fantastic. How much did it take you to learn ZBrush? There's always something to learn, and everybody's going to say the same thing, right? But I mean, I'm self-taught. I did go to school. I did have some access to some resources, but ZBrush wasn't one of them. So all the ZBrush stuff that I had to learn, I learned through trial and error. um, like ZBrush Live and the live streaming and videos that Pixelogic put out didn't really come around as much until like Joseph Drust started doing his Ask ZBrush series on the Pixelogic channel. Super awesome. I love that series, by the way. If you ever get the opportunity to go check it out, that's a great resource. But a lot of what I had to do to be able to learn ZBrush was just picking personal projects and making it work, which is fantastic. I mean, I love personal project. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and merge these two together. I don't need those two to be separate. Something like that. Cool. Okay. So let's do this stuff. But really, like, my biggest thing that I did to be able to learn ZBrush was personal projects. I'm going to say unweld groups border. Boom. Okay, so now I've got all these pieces. They're all separate. Okay. I want to say, let's do something. I'm going to go ahead and shift down, so that way this is part of its own thing. I'm going to put it into its own group. Hairt. I do that all the time. Anytime there's an R, like it's just too close, right? It's just too close. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this thing, I'm going to say group split. Ta-da! Okay. And now we can go ahead and we can say, where is that other, there's hair chunk. There we go. So now this is what we're left with. Okay. Doesn't look like much yet, right? This is where we got to go through and start creating some thickness here. In fact, here, let's do thickness this way so we can kind of test things out roughly and see how it goes. We're just going to turn on, let's just turn on some thickness here. Turn on the offset to -100. We'll say 0.01. Okay, and that'll maybe 0.02. That'll be good. We'll take that for now. Okay, 0.02. So that'll be kind of our thickness for our hair. So we'll say dynamic, same thing. 0.02. Change that offset to -100. Okay, you can see it's doing some really weird things right here, where everything's kind of twisting and turning because of the angle of these faces. Not a big deal. We'll fix that once we turn it into actual geometry. But I want to be able to test this and see what I think of it. like all together. You know, really, like I think I like this. This is working. Okay. Same thing. 0.02. Change that offset to -100, and we're good. Check that out. Okay. So this is the start of our hair. Let's go ahead and do this. We're going to say apply. Then I can just come in here to dynamic. I can change this up to 2, change our thickness to 0. Okay. You can see it's definitely not doing everything we need it to, but this is where we start to fix it, right? Apply, turn on dynamic, turn that up, turn this down. Same thing. Apply, turn on dynamic, put up smooth, turn off thickness. Last one, apply, dynamic, 1, 2, turn off thickness. Okay. She's balding a little bit. It's okay. We still love her. Okay. So what we need to do, I am going to start off by, how do we want to start off? Let's go ahead and start off. Oops, that's not what we want to do. Oh, I guess we have this set to do nothing. Let's say set it to delete. Change this to something like this, and then we can say delete. Okay. Now I know what you're thinking. You're like what? Trust me. Okay, let's grab this purple group. In fact, let's mask everything else out so that way we can just focus on smoothing. We didn't change our spotlight projection. Okay, now we can go ahead and start smoothing. Okay, let's grab this move brush and just kind of pull these points apart a little bit. These little parts here, I'm going to try to like move them over a little bit. This is going to help create some intersection between the hair parts, and should hopefully help things to work out pretty nicely for us. But we'll have to see once we get to that. Okay, so you can see like this is where the hair is kind of coming to. Let's do something real quick. Let's add a single edge loop right there. Okay. Then we'll grab this and boom. Just start pulling this in. Make this intersect with the head. Just kind of pull this up a little bit. There's going to be a lot of adjusting. There's going to be a lot of pushing and pulling and trying to figure this out. At some point, it's going to be beautiful. This is part of the process that I'll go through with some of my characters, like my long-haired characters, for Marvel, because it allows me to really just establish a flow, to get shapes. If I needed to at some point, I could go through and split this out more and get more chunks, but I'm not super worried about having a ton of chunks. It's just a matter of getting shapes in there. For this one, though, we definitely need to kind of play with this section specifically. Okay, so let's kind of come over here. I'm just going to smooth this out because that's going to be the quickest, easiest way to get that to not be intersecting in a really odd, awkward way, right? Boom, boom. There we go. Super nice. Hurt. Okay, so now we've got this going on. Oops. It's like everything's the same polygroup. Okay, this is where magic starts to happen. So we can grab this and boop. Okay, and just kind of like smooth it out so that it's nice. this down here, like I need to think through a bit more what it is that I want to have happen stylistically with this hair. If I want it to have kind of like a cave in, which I think would work really pretty nicely actually. So we'll probably leave it something a little bit like that. Same thing with the top of the head. We need to make sure that this is going into the head. So we're just going to grab that, boom, and push that in. Okay, kind of smooth out that mask some. Just going to move this out a little bit. Just kind of play around with it. Massage the shapes into place, right? Cozy it on in. We can kind of push this over a little bit more. Just kind of make it butt up against the next shape over. Just a little bit better. This hair chunk in the back here, I probably will want to actually take it and split it up into a couple different pieces. That way I can give it a little bit more of a flow kind of coming out over this direction. Oops. So it has a little bit more of a flow kind of coming out over here. In fact, let's do this because this needs a little bit more definition. Doesn't have quite enough. Let's go ahead and kind of pull this around. Let's kind of have this this bottom corner also kind of pull out and around a little bit. Nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy. We'll leave it for now. Okay, this is all just part of like my model blocking stage, right? Kind of reminds me of my grandma. Yeah, I'll have to get it away from that, but you know what? Let's go ahead and we'll say Control A, and let's actually make a couple of new edge loops here. Let's go ahead and start twisting it or something. That could be cool. Yeah, there's like a I don't know, I guess there's a lot to think about in doing here. Do something like this. Move these points over. These edges, these ends right here, I want to get rid of those. So let's modify topology, delete hidden. Okay, same thing up here. We're going to want to make sure that we have like an extra edge in there. Mask that out. Pull this in. Wrong brush. You got to make sure you're using the right brush, or else you're going to run into trouble, right? Okay, so you notice that like with these pieces, I'm trying to make sure that each of them has flow. The flow is what's going to allow me to create a little bit more structure with the piece. And I'll probably want to have like an extra piece kind of coming up off the front here, but we'll have it so that it kind of comes out of the front, kind of like I'll say Widow's Peak region, that center of the forehead, so that it comes and then kind of moves out around her head. Yeah, it's hair. It's a little hairy. Let's go ahead and see Control Shift D, just for the sake of making sure that this is duplicated out. We can kind of move it and position it and make it pretty. I'm going to get rid of a couple of these extra edge loops in here. It doesn't need to be super thick, right? This particular piece, we can go ahead and shrink it down. Kind of push it up. we'll have to twist it maybe a little bit here down at the bottom just to get a little bit more dynamic feel. But this is kind of, or maybe it's a matter of just twisting it up here at the top. Yeah, that could be interesting. Let's play with that a little bit. Okay, so let's grab this. Grab this, kind of pull this around. And now we can kind of push and pull just to try to figure out, because you see that's making a much more natural sort of hair shape. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to explore this a little bit more and make this feel a little bit more what we're looking for, right? It's all about finding those right twists with the hair. Hair's tricky. Hair's a beast, but it's so neat. And if you get it right, like, awesome. That's what we want. Let's grab this bit of hair here, and I'll actually kind of shrink it back some so that it's supporting this little bit of the curl. This will be the apex of the curl, the big I'll say the show pony. It's the show pony part of the curl. Okay, so these things will be kind of more supporting forms, hopefully, at some point. Okay, grab this, kind of have it fit in over here. Maybe we'll grab something like this. That's really kind of too much. Oh, come on, you. There we go. Okay, now we're good. Now we're good. Now we're good. Now we're good. I want to think about how this curl is going to resolve. I kind of like the idea of it wrapping around a little bit more. Okay, something like that. And now I'm just going to use my brushes to kind of pull it into place. Might be a little bit much. Dang it. And you know what? Maybe it's a matter of keeping this other piece the way that it was and making this front piece shorter. Let's try that. Let's try that. I'm going to make this shorter. Let's get rid of a couple of those edges in here. Grab that and kind of pull this around so that it fits in. I want this to be more like bangs now. This is kind of what we're going to explore. Okay, let's pull this, make it pretty. Okay. I don't want to sit still, look pretty. Muffins? Like they ran out? I feel it. So I was fortunate enough to be included in the beta with the new um, with the new ZBrush. Um, I I really appreciate being part of the beta team. I appreciate being able to learn from from the developers directly, and being able to yeah, just that inside sort of scope of what's going on, and how things are coming along and whatnot. Getting early insights to how different tools can apply to my workflow, that sort of thing, right? Um, there are a bunch of the tools that I will likely never use. That's just kind of the likelihood of how, like when new things come out, new tools come out, not all the things are going to be useful. You see I still haven't upgraded to the 2023. A lot of people haven't quite yet. And I think that's part of the growing pains of the merger, but it's also one of those things that there are a lot of things, a lot of tools, a lot of possibilities, things that are available and possible because of the merger. Like for instance, the what's it called? Redshift, rendering in Redshift. It's amazing. It's amazing. My computer doesn't handle it very well. It's a little bit beefy. But it's amazing. It's a really fantastic tool. It's beautiful. It does some great gives you some great rendering results. So yeah, it's one of those things that at some point, like when I have a stronger computer that can handle it, that's one of the things that I want to be able to do is, have that ability of, rendering, rendering really nice stuff, so much better than Keyshot. It's, you get more control over things more easily. Um, it's really nice. It's really, really nice. I unmasked the whole thing. Let's go ahead and kind of move this over a little bit. But yeah, and the nice thing is that it comes with whatever you pay for the Maxon stuff. So um, it's nice. Like it's so much nicer than having extra subscriptions, in that sort of sense. Yeah, I think one of the things that I need to do before the stream is out is, let me see. That got a little bit messy. There we go. Is build her pink shawl that she has in the concept. She has like this like sheer robe. Yeah, I was pretty active with Keyshot for a good long while, and then I just stopped using it, and I was like, you know what? No sense in paying for it anymore. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna renew on that. And I didn't, I just kept um, I just started kind of transitioning to be a little bit more like creating final projects inside of Maya. So like taking it through the entire pipeline instead of just sticking with whatever I could do inside of ZBrush. There's still a lot that you can do inside of ZBrush, rendering wise, even without the fancy plugins, even without the fancy renderers. It's just it just takes a little bit of extra comp work, inside of things like Photoshop. Um, You know, so it's just different, right? It's just different. Different workflows, different needs. But it's a possibility. It's something that you can still get to, still do. It's fun. This needs to come over a little bit more. This other bit here needs to maybe get pulled back a little bit. Here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to smooth each of these out. Just once. Oops, I meant to turn off dynamic. Okay, so now what this allows me to do, I have many more points now. Hola Huma, bienvenido. Yeah, Maxon 1 is pretty expensive, but if you're a student, Photoshop Maya ZBrush, yeah, that's my normal workflow too. Yep. Hey Akira, got recommended on YouTube out of nowhere, but watching you and your way of talking, I guess I will wait and try to grab whatever's going on. Yeah, just so this is ZBrush. This is the current project, what I have going on. I feel like she's still a little bit like tall, so I think what we're gonna do, let's actually before we get going anywhere else, let's go ahead and kind of like shorten her legs just a hair. Purely because it's like I think about it and then I forget about it and then I do other things and then I never really come back to it. Let's go ahead and grab just these bits here so that way we can lower the entire body. Just a smidge. I don't want it to be a whole lot. I still want those legs to feel nice and long. That feels quite a bit better, like much better proportions and whatnot. I think that'll work for me. Anyway, that's the project. Let me show you real quick. Let me load in the other spotlight so you can see what it is that we're working on. This is a collaboration with Caitlin Wing. She's a photographer. I don't know, just really kind of a fun little project. Shane Olsen's ruler, yeah, he's got a good ruler, little 20 centimeter ruler. So this software is a 3D modeling sculpting software. Technically it was designed as an illustration software, but very few people use it like that. It's an industry standard software used for making characters and environments and props and things for games, for films, for animation, for toys. You know, all sorts of toy stuff goes and comes from ZBrush. Really cool stuff. So yeah, this is my current personal project. Oh my gosh, why will it not select my hair stuff? Okay, so we got some hair in here. Delete lower, delete lower, delete lower. Just gives me more to work with as a base. Like I'm not too worried about running out of topology or like running out of anything really. I'm just wanting to have enough for what I need to do, right? So let's go ahead. Let's jump over here. Let's say move auto brush, radius, edge loop partial. Just kind of start making some variation to our shapes. Okay, adding some different sections for the clumps, and this will help to really break up. That's a little bit too much. Let's try something like that. So you can see kind of what it is that's starting to happen with it. I'm going to also want to, cause like I want to keep this edge going around the corner maybe a little bit sharper. We'll have to see. We'll have to see kind of how it feels once we, as we continue to do this sort of stuff and adding in these definitions and whatnot. This is getting a little bit out of control, a little bit too heavy. Let's see what we can get here. Yeah, this tool, this move by brush radius, that's one that I learned here on stream actually. Somebody was watching my other technique for being able to do things like this and moving edges around, and they're like, you could try it like this with the ZModeler and it works really nicely. And I was like, oh, look at that. That's cool. It's like ZModeler has so many different options, things that different ways that different actions that you can perform to the different components, and then different ways of being able to modify that to fit your needs, the way that you want to be able to move those components. So super, super cool. Yeah, the 2023 update is a paid update, I believe. Yep. At some point I'll have everything updated. At some point. Let's do something kind of like that. So you can see kind of like the effect that that's having. And let's go ahead and kind of turn on dynamic on all these just so we can see a little bit more what we're getting out of it. This is getting a little bit messed up. Let's just kind of smooth that out some. We're going to want to try to control some of these shapes in here a little bit better. So I want to do that by using my actual method of controlling the shapes. Let's grab this, kind of pull it out to the side here. Let's grab this edge and we'll kind of pull it out this way. Okay, so now we're starting to get this sort of blade shape here. Let's see about getting a little bit more this sort of effect here on the outside. I want to have like a kind of a plane change right through there. So I'm just going to select those edges and kind of make sure that I'm getting a little bit more aggressive of a plane change. Where can you try it out? So ZBrush does have, let me pull over a link. Let me see. Pixelogic.com. Not secure, whatever. So you can come in here, like there's some information about 2023 in here. But you also have like get ZBrush. You can see there's the try ZBrush in here, which if you come in here, there would be like the Maxon app. There should be the ability to get in here to ZBrush Core, ZBrush Core Mini right here. Yeah, let me click. Let me give you this link. Maxon.net.english / English / try / yeah, really pretty simple stuff. ZBrush Core Mini is very basic, very limited. But it's an interesting way. It's a simple way to be able to get in and try out a couple of tools, get a feel for. Got a whole bunch of birds outside now. Get a feel for the tools, the navigation, um, being able to do stuff in there. Um, you know. So I mean, it's not something that's going to give you the full experience, but it should hopefully be enough of a, I'll say, an appetizer to know whether or not it's something that you're interested in really trying out. They didn't have a free version when I started learning. It was all just, you either buy it or you don't. um, so I went ahead and the reason I felt so sure about buying it at first is because I had a buddy of mine who was actually in the illustration program who had tried it out and loved it, and he was doing these little figurines, like super dynamic figurines that he was sculpting in ZBrush, and then he was 3D printing them. And I was like, I have got to try that out. Oh, they have a 14-day trial? That's awesome. There is also a Japanese streamer. Yeah. Oh, I think there are actually two Japanese streamers. One that's on pretty regularly. I think Sakaki's on pretty regularly, but then there's also I'm blanking on his name right now. He's part of the actual Pixelogic group, Daisuke. Yeah, ZBrush Core Mini is on there. Yeah, Daisuke is he's awesome. So underneath project products, there's ZBrush Core Mini right there. So go through, check that out. This is a great way to be able to get into it, to get your feet wet, I guess. There's also ZBrush Core, which I believe is also charged, but it's a little bit more robust. You have more tools to it. Um, and then obviously, there are all the other objects or all the other softwares available here. Um, yeah, that's kind of where that's at. Um, I super recommend. This is weird. I'm gonna try playing with this a little bit more. Um, I super recommend playing with it and getting a feel for it. It's one of those things that it's not going to necessarily be the most natural thing to you, I don't think. If you're used to other softwares, it might feel a little bit awkward. It might be a little bit hard to get used to the way of using, Alt and Control to be able to navigate, Control right click to be able to zoom in and out, and then Alt right click to be able to pan, and then just right click to be able to tumble around. Um, it's a little bit tricky to get used to, especially if you're used to other 3D packages um, where the navigation is more universally the same of like Alt for everything, and you just use the different mouse buttons, right? Um, yeah, that was one thing that was really tricky for me to get used to, and even to this day, it's still a little bit tricky for me to switch between softwares, between ZBrush and Maya, because I do that a lot. Um, Keyboard shortcuts, I try to make it so that they're a little bit more unified. So you notice that, like, if I do Control 1, that sets up my solo, which is what will happen if you have if you use Control 1 in Maya, that'll isolate whatever you have selected. So it makes it really, really nice and easy to at least have things like that as a way of unifying my workflow across different software. GoZ for Maya. I haven't used GoZ in years. I need to, because it's a fantastic tool. Um, yeah. Yeah, I haven't used it for such a long time because it's like I feel like it's not like a oh I hate it or I came up with a better solution. It's just that there was on my work computer. I feel like it's harder for me because like I don't have administrator privileges on my work computer, so I don't have the option of being able to install Gozi and making Gozi work and all that. It's a pain in the butt. But whatever. Whatever. I feel something great inside my soul, which I can't stop feeling. Oh, that's good. It's really exciting. I love ZBrush, and it's always been a very neat tool to me. Um, Kind of like you said. I mean, it's like it's super satisfying. It's really fun to work with. It's extremely creative, but I can also be very structured and very rigid and I do most of my models for production inside of ZBrush. All the stuff that I do for Marvel, it's done inside of ZBrush. And it's getting a little bit too in the way there. Um, Really, really handy. And same thing with everything that I do for toys things that I do for my personal projects, things that I do for. Let me see. That's not quite working the way that I want, but we'll figure it out. Let's kind of pull that down, pull this around, something. Oh, I've only been streaming for like an hour. Wow. For some reason, it feels like it's been so much longer. That's funny. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. See, this is the trick that I would personally typically use to be able to control edges. Um, is that I have that selection lasso, and I'm able to use it um, to isolate certain edges. So Control Shift click with the select lasso on an edge, and that'll hide that whole poly loop. It's oops. It's insanely helpful. I use it all the time. Okay, it's like for edges, you can hide those open edges, and it makes it really quick and easy to isolate things to make it so that it's easy to control. Um, all the fun. This is still early stages, but it's coming along. Let's get this a little bit more gesture from the side here. Like it feels like it's a little bit too simple. Let's see if we can get some of this to kind of come out a little bit, get some of this. Like the closer we get points together, the more it's going to pinch and the more it's going to help support that edge. So this is one of those things that it's a technique and you want to be careful of it. you know, because like if it's if it happens where you're not intending for it to happen, it can create a mess. Um, but you know, it is what it is. You know, you go through, you control it, and you make it pretty. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Let's do something like that so I can get a little bit more of a corner here. And then I'll have to do something like that on the other side here as well, just so that I can make sure that the shapes are meeting up so that it feels a little bit more consistent and controlled. Okay, see kind of what's happening there. Okay. I'm not particularly liking the way that the bangs are kind of diving into this section of hair, so there might be something I need to do to kind of control that and play with that a little bit more. But for right now, let's play with this stuff here. Kind of pull some of this up, pull some of this out, kind of support that edge a little bit more. This way I can control that shape just a bit better, you know? Yeah, let's go ahead and kind of give it a little bit more of a dip here. I think that maybe there's some benefit, some virtue in taking that and kind of giving it a little bit less of like this convex and make it more concave. It's a little bit more flat than it is concave. But we're gonna play with that and kind of see what it is that we like. Let me see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Maxon won't screw up ZBrush. They're an established company, and they're keeping the Pixelogic team on to be able to manage ZBrush. So I'm pretty sure ZBrush is safe. ZBrush is in good hands. It's in the same hands it's always been in. Yeah, so far as ZBrush goes, and oh, that could be cool. I'm going to try pulling this back a little bit, actually create a little bit more dynamic shapes, because right now this is all super straight up and down, and I think that might be contributing to how I'm feeling about these shapes in here. So I think by controlling these shapes a little bit better, that feels a little bit too samey. So I'm trying to like split this up in a way that makes sense, in a way that feels dynamic. This might need to come up a little bit actually, just to kind of fix that some. And you know, I'm working from my own concept, so it's like I feel all the liberty in the world to do whatever I want with this. And that's kind of the fun thing about working from your own concept. But if you're working from a concept that's developed already, that's already there, something that somebody else did, especially if you're doing it for work, for a company, for somebody else, you need to try to honor the concept as close as possible. Marvel is extremely particular about it. If you've ever worked for an outsourcing house that works for Marvel, or you know, anything like that, you'll know how extremely particular Marvel is about their designs. Yeah, they care a lot, and it's fine. That's fine. Let's go ahead and kind of make sure that that fits in with that piece of hair there. That's pretty nice. I feel like this is getting to be too, like, if this were all long hair, right? This hair is way longer than this hair, and it's not split up enough to make it so that it feels like it's you know. So one of the things I could try doing, I don't know how viable this is, but we're going to try it out. Let's grab this. I'm just going to kind of smooth it out, pull it back. And essentially what I want to try to do is get this so that this fits into this area right here. So this way it's got some you know, some edges that are kind of curving out to the end and some that are just kind of going down. Let's try it. Let's see what we get out of it. Oops. Let's go ahead and say something like this. Grab these. And we'll pull this into place here. Take this and kind of pull this up toward here. Okay, something like that I think is going to work for my needs, for what I need out of it in Maya. So this is probably what I'm going to, I mean, you know, with refining some of the shapes of things that I'm seeing here, but you know, this is kind of what I'm wanting to get out of this, I think. In fact, this could be interesting, but I don't know that I really. How much do I want? Let me try something. In fact, let's say Control-Shift-D, just so we can keep this one, and then we can just go ahead and we can say, let's grab those. We'll delete hidden, and then what I want to do is I want to. It looks like two pieces. Yeah, kind of. Bridge, two holes, polygroup flat, minimum resolution, align clicked edges. I want to take this and I want to align it to maybe back here. Let's say bevel, just so I can get that to be its own thing here. Sorry, not that. Control Z, Control A. There we go. That's what I want. Okay. It's like, wake up, brain. Wake up. Wake up. So this just gives me this nice little twist to the hair. So now the hair, instead of going and just simply kind of piping out the end, it's going to come and it's going to loop a little bit. It's going to create this sense of wrapping. It's going to create this just extra movement. Having a sense of extra twist to the hair is going to help it to feel a bit more dynamic. It's going to help it to feel more more natural, that sort of thing. I mean, it's super simple. It's super subtle. In fact, I'm trying to decide if I even like it or not. Yeah, it's trying to make it look like the hair is kind of flipping up, and that's kind of the idea. I think I want to try, oh, not mirror and weld, delete hidden. I want to try doing it just a little bit more extreme. Bridge there to there. Let's try that, see what we get. bevel edge loop, boom, like that. Control W. Okay, now we can go ahead and kind of pull this into position. That might be a little bit too extreme. There we go. Let's see. Let's go back. Bridge. Okay. 1, 2. Yeah, let's keep this. We'll just say this is good. Bevel edge loop complete. Boom. Oh, that's right. Yeah, just kind of smooth it out some so that it fits into that area a little bit better. Smooth out my mask, and then I can kind of smooth that out. One of the things that I want to try to do now, sorry, it's like something smells like it's burning downstairs, and so trying to not get too distracted by it, I guess. Okay, so now we're getting, oh, not that. Now we're getting this. What I want to do, say Control W, just so we have different polygroups here that we can kind of understand the flow a little bit better, what's going on. Let's grab some of these points down here and just kind of start sculpting them back into that flow that we had. Let's see, let's grab that and that. Something kind of like this. That feels pretty cool, I guess. We'll accept it. We'll accept it. Let's go ahead and kind of pull this down a little bit. And then let's take this and let's see if we can figure out how this will fit with it. Technically, again, granted, this will get a groom inside of Maya, so I'm not insanely worried about making it absolutely perfect. But, you know, still worthwhile to kind of play around with some of these things. This shape right here, just to be able to get that corner a little bit more, I'm going to push this into place so that this kind of pinches a little bit right there in that corner. Helps to really emphasize that transition. Okay. Let's see if we can get some kind of pull on this a little bit. So there we go. There's some hair. Now let's see. I'm going to go ahead and take this hair. Let's go ahead and close it. Let's say merge folder. So now we've got this merged hair topo. We'll say polygroups, auto groups, so that way each piece has its own polygroups. And then we can just go ahead and turn on our smooth preview to be able to preview it. Now we can kind of modify this all collectively instead of trying to do it one piece at a time. Still trying to decide, like, shape wise, if there's something else that I want to have happen with the actual body of the hair here. If I want it to have like that got a little bit sharp. Let's go ahead and kind of pull out some points, kind of push in some points to get a little bit more of like a flow there, just so that it's a little bit more interesting. Kind of pull this down, try to figure out kind of what it is that we want to see happen, the kind of movement that we want in the hair. Getting some good shapes in here. Go ahead and mask by that so that we can go ahead and push and pull and work that hair around a little bit. Cool. Let's see about getting her. Look at that difference. Well, and granted, we did technically take this and we lowered everything, but there's a lot of shape change that we have made over the course of this stream. We're gonna have to try to decide if we need to make any changes or if it's if it works well enough for what we need. Let's go ahead and say color fill object, so that way she's got some decent color for her hair. Otherwise, I mean, that's looking pretty good. Let's see about blocking in this shawl, see what we can do instead, what we can do in the next 20 minutes. And yeah, let's see what we can do. Wait, I'm trying to get through your comment here, Chris. What Redshift alternatives do you use? I use Arnold for Maya. Like honestly, I don't use any of the Maxon products besides ZBrush. Which, ZBrush, for me, it'll always be a Pixelogic thing. Pixelogic is still the team that develops it. It's the team that handles it. It's never not going to be Pixelogic. But yeah, it's one of those things that that it's just part of a new family, and it still comes around to visit every once in a while, and we'll get Christmas cards, and we'll have them for Christmas dinner. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, just trying to be silly. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's always been a Pixelogic thing, and Pixelogic's just part of a new family now, is all. So far, I haven't been disappointed with Maxon and the way that they've handled things. It is a little hard to swallow, the subscription model, but that's the way that everything is, and so it's just a matter of trying to figure out when and how, and you know, for me right now, 2022 still works, and that's where I'm at personally. The hope is to be able to upgrade at some point, but my personal computer can't handle Redshift very well. It can't handle any of the Maxon products, so it's not worthwhile for me to upgrade personally because my computer can't handle it. That being said, if anybody is listening and wants to help me upgrade to a very nice industry standard workstation instead of a laptop that I've been using for the last 5 years, I will gratefully accept. I'm totally joshing, but only so much, right? Let's go ahead and kind of push this around a little bit, get some more shape. Let's get a little bit of a gesture here so that it's not straight. A little bit something like that. But yeah. So far, so good. Okay. Now let's see about blocking in this shawl. So she's wearing a little bit more clothing here. Let's see. When I try to organize my these are the earrings. Let's rename those. Let's say insert. We'll just do a whatever thing for now, and then we'll come up here to right in here. Let's go ahead and make it nice and big so that it kind of covers her body a little bit here. Okay, now this is where we're going to start to use some ZModeler. Not right away, but you know, eventually, right? Okay, so this looks like it's pretty long. I'm going to say it's coming down to about her ankles. Okay, somewhere in that neighborhood right there. Let's go ahead and do something like this. Geometry, delete hidden. Okay. So the big thing that I want to do right now is I want to start prepping this so that, yeah, so I use Arnold for Maya because I'm an instructor, and and so I still have access to the educational version of Maya. Yeah, your sarcasm is it's a little much. It's a little much. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Let me see. And it's like, I get it. I get it. Money's a thing. I'm not gonna lie and say that, you know, things are cheap. For me, it's not. Marmoset's really cool. I haven't, you know what, I actually kind of want to, let's turn on symmetry here. I haven't used it a ton. But it is a really, really neat tool. Let's go ahead and say slide. Let's say bridge. Say stitch to midpoint. Let's get those going in there. Okay. Here, in fact, before we smooth that out, let's actually go through and kind of make sure that this is one kind of fitting her body a little bit better. And then two, that'll work a little bit better. And then two, I'm going to add in like those some extra spans in here, so just to keep it so that it's a little bit more even in topology. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and mask out the bottom for now. We'll say deformation, polish. Here, let's say polish by groups. That's a little bit better. That way it kind of cozies out those points up top. Let's go ahead and turn on transparency so we can see through our model here. Let's see if we can kind of start making this so that this feels like it fits her a little bit better. One thing that I do want to start pulling around is I want to make sure that she has holes for her arms, right? So let's go in here. I'm going to make a hole for her arm. Polish by groups. Turn on local symmetry, kind of expand that out. Oops. Yeah, I can super smell it. Should be. Just going to go ahead and kind of pull this out a little bit here. Something kind of like this. We'll have to decide. This feels like it's not quite the topology that I want for this section. I think I need this to go up and around before I have, you know, so have this kind of go up and over. So we're going to say, yeah, that'll work. Delete that. Okay, let's insert. We'll say bridge. And then let's say delete there too. In fact, let's say let's get rid of this here. We will bless you. Get rid of a couple things here. Qué tierna. Let's bridge these two together. Salud. I'm gonna go ahead. Let's add in a single edge loop in here. Let's bridge these edges together. Let's just delete this edge loop for now. We'll see kind of what it is that we need in a minute. But something that I feel like I need out of this, let's go ahead and delete this. We will say insert, where are we at? Insert right there. Say stitch to midpoint, something like that. Let's do that for these as well, because I want to make sure that I have a good loop going around. Say bridge edges. I love ZModeler, guys. I am going to say let's insert an edge loop here and insert an edge loop here. So that way we're going to have a total of 10 edges going around, which is nice. Salud. Yeah, I've actually never used... I've used Marmoset once for baking. And it was nice. I liked it. I liked the way that the tools worked. You know what? We're going to add in an extra edge loop here and an extra edge loop here, and we're gonna have to cozy these out, but it's fine. We'll work it out. Bridge edges together, so we get that to there, that to there. Same thing here, so we'll get this to here, this to here. So now we have, although I don't particularly care for the way this is going together. Let's see what we have here. Maybe what we can do is we can figure out how we go about making this flow work on the front. Yeah, so we have that there, we have that there. So this is essentially just kind of going up and out. Delete, delete. Say insert single. Do that instead. That'll work better. Okay. So let's see, polish by groups. It's going to mess up the bottom edge a little bit, but that's fine. We'll clean it up. The thing that's important is having the good clean edge flow, and that's what we want. So that's where we're going. Let's actually probably lower this collar down so that it's not so high. Yeah, Marmoset's great. It's something I need to get into a little bit more. I don't have access to it currently because my computer can't handle it. Someday. When I'm awfully low. Okay, this down here, we need to go ahead and kind of tweak out this corner. Fix it some so that it's got the right shape. Oh, my posture. I need to like fix my posture. I'm so bad with my posture sometimes. Drives me nuts. Okay, so now that that's going up there, we got to kind of bring this out to meet it so that it's like it's coming out to her hips and then it's just falling down instead of... It's like this shape right here needs to be fixed. But, you know, that's all part of the process. It's fine. We're fine. We're all fine. Let me turn off that chair. By the way, if you want to see like how I made that chair, it's all on last week's stream. So feel free to go jump on, check that out. It's kind of a fun little project. I might at some point go ahead and do a stream on my personal channel to show how I'd go ahead and take it into Maya and do UVs and things. But yeah, for right now, it's good enough. Your general opinion on Marvelous Designer when it comes to making clothes. I haven't used Marvelous Designer in probably about 5-6 years. So I'm not the best person to ask about it. I know that a lot of people like to use it. It's a really fantastic tool. It's really powerful. I personally prefer to just model my clothing. That, and again, it's like whenever it comes to software, I'm restricted by my machine and price and things like that. So, you know, like, yeah, I mean, my machine currently is like I said earlier, I'm still working from a laptop. I've never had a good desktop computer. So you know, that's something that I'm hoping to change sometime early this year. I just haven't yet. Haven't been able to yet. But at some point soon. At some point soon, I'll be able to change that for myself. Okay, I'm going to turn on double-sided so I can see this a little bit better here. Okay, these sleeves are going to need to be like mega puffy sleeves. So it's kind of, I'm going to pull this in a little bit tighter to the elbow. And then let's go ahead and say insert edge loop here. And I'm going to say scale. If I can find it. Scale, edge loop partial. Boom. And it'll probably need to be puffier, but we're going to figure that out at some other point. We have it blocked in. Let's go ahead and grab a color here. Oh, that's like a little bit too orange. I want this to be a little bit more pink. And then I also want to use, let's use Skin Shade 5. Skin Shade 5, by the way, is not an official tool. Why did I change her shoes? It's that I haven't changed her shoes. These shoes are just from a different project, so I just haven't changed from them yet. The idea is to go in at some point and in fact, maybe I could go ahead and let's do this. Let's say load tool. We'll go into, oh, actually, I don't know if I have. I actually don't know if I have a character that I can pull those types of shoes from. Yeah, let me see. Nope. Social. Yeah, it looks like Warrior Queen. Interesting. I didn't realize that I had. Anyway, I mean, yeah, it's it's just that I haven't changed them yet. They're still my Sailor Moon shoes. Yeah. Let's kind of try to tweak this a little bit just to get a little bit nicer of spacing on the points. Rather use Maya for modeling clothes, take them into ZBrush to define them. Yeah. What are you trying to make? It's this right here. It's her clothing. Okay. So I mean, it's really just blocked in right now is all it is. There's a lot left to do on this for it to really work properly. Let me see. I'm going to say inflate just to get it away from her body a little bit. And then let's see. Let's use insert. Let's use insert multiple edge loops here. Get some multiple edge loops going in there. I'm going to say Control D just once. Delete lower. We'll say inflate just a little bit more. Again, just to be able to pull it away from her body, right? Oh, you know what? It's asymmetrical. Here, let's go ahead and say, let's take off our symmetry. Oh, shoot. Let's take off our symmetry. Let's mask half of it. And let's say smart resim just to... Oh, maybe it's not that her thing is asymmetrical. It's that her bra looks like it might be. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, it's local symmetry. That's why. Smart resim. No. Nothing. Geometry. Mirror and weld. Still no. Interesting. Let's come over here. One quick way to be able to check and see if our thing is... I will actually be using some dynamics here in just a minute. That's why I have it kind of pushed off of the mesh. So yeah, what we're going to do real quick, down underneath geometry, underneath position. But that X position, that's totally 0. This is so weird. I'm like, mirror and weld. I guess everything else must be off center or something because this should not be happening. Wow. Yeah, so it was asymmetrical, which means that her body is also asymmetrical, which is a pain in the rear. Here, let's see. I'm going to have to do UVs on her at some point anyway, but I don't want to go through and do Like I don't want to mess up her UVs for the sake of, yeah, let's go ahead and kind of hide everything so we can get in here. Yeah, let's go ahead and kind of expand this by a couple ticks if we can. Just want a little bit more space so that I can mask things out properly without messing anything up. Okay, let's grab that. Grab all of this. Let's make sure we get that whole leg because I don't want to mess up the leg at all. Everything else should be all right, I think. Let's go ahead. Let's do this. Say deformation, smart resim. There we go. That's better. Looks like the strap too. Good grief. Geometry, mirror and weld. Is there anything else that I need to fix? I assume that's probably just fine. Okay, cool. Let's call it. Say it's all right. Oh, you know what? Let's make sure, since we made changes to the body, I want to make sure that symmetry is turned back on. Let's go ahead and do something like this. Kind of give it a little bit of a buffer space. Let's open up dynamics. Now, some things, like, you'll notice that well, you can ask things, Chris. I think one of the things though is that you're being kind of caustic, you know, a little bit. The things that you were saying, maybe not so much what you were saying, but how you were saying it was coming across as aggressive. So try to be a little bit more, a little bit more friendly. Yeah, I love for people to be able to talk and ask questions and you know, participate in the comments and whatnot. But I definitely want it to be a friendly place to be able to hang out. Those are my thoughts. Okay. Let me see. Because, you know, we definitely don't come here to, you know, to complain about everything. Let's go through, kind of play with this, the way that it's aligning. Thanks, Spear Chuck. Yeah, she's fun, and I'm looking forward to kind of how she'll be when she's completely done. Let's go through. I'm gonna inflate this a little bit just to get a little bit more of like a bell shape to her sleeve here. you. Okay, now we're good. Okay, so let's kind of pull this up a little bit just to give a little bit more shape to this piece. All right. So now that we have this, you see how's that interacting? It's like that's really like accentuating the fact that she's really curvy. like her body itself has a lot of gesture to it, which might be too much now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, I don't know. Let's go ahead. Let's play with gravity and things. Firmness for that cloak. Let's see. Let's put this up to like 3. Oh, and let's check and make sure at the bottom. Okay, good. Our corners are nice and tidy. We're gonna want a collision volume of like 0.1, like 0.1, 0.2, somewhere around there, like really, really low. 0.1. We'll say 0.1. Gravity strength, I'm going to turn that down to like 1. We don't want it to be too heavy. In fact, 1 might be too much. But we'll have to see. We will have to see. Let's see. Currently, this is like going through her neck. We need it to not be going through her neck, especially so that, you know, once we start simulating that it doesn't already start off wrong. Let's hit run simulation, see what we get. Okay, so we had a few things happen. Okay, it's not terrible, but it definitely feels not quite as elegant as this piece does. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make some adjustments to this overall. We're going to say 4 for firmness. Let's see if that can get us a little bit of the way to where we want. Okay, that's getting us pretty close. Let's kind of smooth out in some of these areas around here. So then it's still like I'm still trying to I'm trying to be very gentle with the way that I'm smoothing, so that way I get the smoothing without ruining my the forms that happened from the simulation. Okay, so just kind of pull that out a little bit. And just kind of smooth that some. Pull this out a little bit. Okay, that's starting to look much more like it's on a body. What we want to do, let's grab this. Yeah, thanks, Chris. You look lovely, darling. The camera's right here, so it sees you now. Oh, telling me to behave. What? Yeah, it's fun. She's a lot of fun. I definitely got lucky when it comes to the wife department. Okay, it feels like I might have lost symmetry, at least a little bit. Which may or may not be okay. I don't know. It's one of those things that I've got to weigh out and wait to find out, I guess. The arms, I think, yeah, it looks like it's symmetrical. I don't know, it's probably all right. So here's what I'm going to try to do. I am going to try to take these sleeves, in particular, like down here at the end, and I want to try to get a little bit more of like a ruffle, like a like there's a whole bunch of cloth bunched up into a tight space. So I want to see if I can get that to work nicely. The hard thing for me, like with the what's it called, with the dynamics, is that I feel like sometimes it does exactly what you want it to do, and sometimes it's like what'd you do that for? What'd you do? Yeah, it looks like it messed up the symmetry. So I'm just going to say deformation mirror, geometry, mirror and weld. Make sure that that center seam looks all right. It looks like it doesn't. Mirror and weld, there we go. Turn on symmetry again. It's funny too, like my kids are usually the ones playing peekaboo. It's like during meetings for work, my work computer's over here, and the webcam is looking that way, right? You know, toward the stairs, and the kids will be like trying to play like, you know, secret agent, trying to get past, and it's so funny. Um, how do I hide the edge loops? I use the select lasso. I control shift click on an edge loop, and that hides it. So then I can go through here and I can, you know, mask that and select it, whatnot. Super helpful. Um, okay. Here's what we're going to do. I am going to say, yeah, so I'll turn on some thickness at some point, but for right now, this is kind of part of my workflow with cloth, especially. Um, it becomes really tricky to work with if you add thickness, even if it's just like dynamic thickness. It's like I can come through here really easily. I can say, you know, let's give it like a 0.02, or oh, that's too much. 0.002. Let's say 0.001. Just that perceived thickness. I mean, it's great for visualization's sake, but it can be kind of tricky to work with because it. I don't know. I don't know. For me, it just gets to be kind of tricky to work with sometimes. So sometimes I'll have it active, and then I'll just turn it between on and off. Um, let's see what we can get with this now. Okay, so with this, I don't want any gravity at the moment. But I'm thinking about going through and saying expand, and let's see what we get. No, it wasn't expand. Let's say inflate, or maybe it's deflate actually. So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to say inflate this, you know, just regular, and then we use the deflate to go ahead and run. Come on, why is it? Why don't you? Oh, it's because it's expanding too. I was like, why don't you want to work? So you can see right now, I mean, it's not wanting to do a whole lot. And I think the issue is that I have the firmness up pretty high. So maybe if we turn this down to like 2, yeah, you can see now it's starting to do something. It's starting to go in the wrong direction though, and I don't really particularly like that. So maybe we'll say is we'll turn off the X direction. It's starting to look like something. Let's play with this a little bit. Instead of using the regular gizmo, let's use the cloth one, the transpose cloth. So you can see, like, you know, just by kind of fluffing this around a little bit, we get some folds in here. Yeah, it's kind of push and pull this. Let's see. It's almost 10:30. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Brendan Isaiah will be on here. Like at noon. I might be wrong, but I might be right. Let's jump back over in here and see ZBrush live. I wonder who did this piece. I bet it was Vichar. Vichar is amazing. He does such cool stuff. Let's go into the calendar. Preparing your stream. Dials are being tuned. Okay, so there's nothing else for today. Layla will be the next one. After I do this project. Oh, look. Next Saturday as well. After I do this current project, it's like I think next week I will probably go ahead and hi, Mrs. Smartest. That's funny. I'll tell her you said hi. Let me see. For the magazine, will you be putting the image of Marilyn on 3D planes? No, I'll actually be, because like I don't want to have gone through all that work of making the character for nothing, right? I don't want to like do all this work or hiding it behind a magazine. So yeah, her actual face is going to be what we put onto the magazine. So that'll be fun. There are a lot of things that we got to go through and do, like, for the sake of making the project work. The posing, there will be things like, posing the face, posing the body, doing the rest of the hair, things like that. I'm trying to decide whether I want to use ZBrush to pose or if I want to use go in and try to figure out some light rigging for the sake of making something that I can pose and repose and maybe a rig that I can go ahead and sell. Like I'll make it a kind of a package deal, make it a rig base mesh package, complete with UVs, everything. There we go, trying to make this so that this works pretty all right. Now there's some of these folds that we're going to want to enhance. Oh, you look nice. Tu vas aller où? Mais si tu veux, je peux aller avec toi, avec vous. She likes it when I speak French. It makes her it makes her laugh because it's so awkward. Like, I'm not very good at it, but I do better than a newborn. So it's not too bad. So the idea will be to go through and make a good magazine. In fact, I thought about possibly even having it so that the magazine was just kind of down at her side and have her kind of like this more relaxed, confident sort of pose. We'll have to see. So my personal channel, if you want to be able to find kind of any of my, in fact, here, let me send you all my links. Link. So that way you can find all the things. This is the bio site link. If you look at it, this is what'll pop up. So it'll have a link over to things like my my personal website, and that'll have link to join my Discord, things like my store, link to be able to watch me live. So this is where you can get in to watch that, or you have my Twitch and my YouTube right here, along with my Instagram. Super simple to get to, really nice. Don't worry, Chris, you're good. I apologize. But thanks for being understanding, dude. It's always tricky. Like chat is always tricky because it's like you only get so much context for what's people's intent and things like that. So yeah, you have all these different links on here that you can go to. I've got my ArtStation store, my Flip Normal store. Again, you got like the links to my Instagram, my Twitch, my YouTube, joining the Discord, getting prints, those sorts of things. Also joining my newsletter, which I'm hoping to be able to get going with. I have some things coming up that I want to be able to start announcing, including things like a mentorship program. I'm currently I'm a lead character modeler at Marvel, and I also teach at Noman. So trying to be able to share what it is that I do and have fun with it all the while. So yeah, there's that access to the links, the website, some stuff that's available. It's really fun being able to see some stuff from a portfolio. Lots of fun stuff, environments, characters, fun stuff, right? Fun stuff. For this, she's coming along, she's getting close. There are some things that I'd like to do. In fact, I might take her out of symmetry for now, or like the cloth anyway bits, right? Okay, let's kind of take this. Let's kind of vary this up so that the folds aren't the same on each side. They can be similar, I just don't want them to be the same. Right now it's too similar, so we're going to kind of smooth this out. Then we'll go ahead and we'll kind of sculpt in let's actually make that a peak, make this a valley. Make this a peak. Make this a valley. So this way it just kind of creates a little bit of a difference between each sleeve. I wanted the main body to be symmetrical, and I think that works nicely for me. But yeah, going in and having some good asymmetry for these sleeves will be helpful, I think. And these folds, I think they'll definitely change after I pose her. That'll be something to pay attention to. And then once I'm done kind of working out the folds for these arms, that's when I'm going to go ahead and make like the little cuff that goes on the end of it. Stuck in grooming. Thanks, Luck Lori. Appreciate that. So this is kind of where we're at and where we're, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Move brush, please. Just to give it a little bit of an angle so it's not flat. Okay. Now she's looking pretty slick. I mean, she's off to a start, right? She's not anywhere near finished, but she's off to a start. In fact, there will be some things like this maybe that we can go ahead and kind of tweak for the sake of keeping a clean seam shape here. Really cool. Okay. Good enough for now. That's where she'll leave off. Let's turn the chair back on so that it's just there for the in fact, let's grab this and we'll say transpose set. Just kind of scoot it back a little bit. Oh wow, did you see that? It's like it's pulling on the thing. I have the wrong transpose turned on, but it's just kind of funny. That color is like, it's kind of a cream sort of color. In fact, I think it's the same similar sort of color that I have for the eyes, but maybe a little bit more saturated. So I'm going to come down here and try to add this in. Color, fill object. Fill object. And then there will be like a cool pattern that we put on there eventually. This can be a little bit darker since these are the feet. Just makes more sense for those to be, you know, like a darker-ish wood, right? Something like that. So that's where we'll leave that off for this week. I think I'll probably go through and try to rig this in my personal stream. I think that's a good idea. And then I can go ahead and pose her, and then I can refine her pose in the sculpt. So once I get her posed the way that I want, I'll go ahead and I'll bring her back into ZBrush, and I'll do that for next week. We'll have to see when it is that I get the time to be able to go back and dig back in and work on this some more. But yeah, I mean, so far so good. I mean, I'm really enjoying getting this to work out. In fact, let me go ahead and turn it this way so that it's a little bit nicer of an angle, I think. You see more of the face. Okay, so this is kind of where we're at, is where we're going. Should be fun. I mean, it's been a fun project so far. Yeah, gosh. Thanks for coming and hanging out, guys. I always have fun having people to chat with while I'm streaming. How would I submit things to Marvel? Submit things how so? Like for like a job application, be considered for a position. You just through the website. Ideas. I don't think they really accept that. But a good question. Yeah, thanks, Serene. Serene peace. I like that. Yeah. So there we are. That's where we'll leave off. Thanks for coming and hanging out, and I'll see you next time I see you. Smartest out.